How's it going tonight, Rick?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Been looking forward to this one. I've been seeing your content for years and years and years now as an XFL fan. Uh, so it's pretty interesting to actually have you on tonight and get to bug you and ask some questions on your product.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's gonna be a fun time, and I think we're gonna learn a lot about stuff we didn't know about, which should be fun.
Yes, sir. No doubt. No doubt. Like always, we'll talk about you more at the end. We'll get to your game and get to your content and get to learn more about you. But really wanted to cover some XFL news first off the bat.
And
Breaking
got some big
news.
news too, right?
Yes, sir. About an hour ago, we had some news that the Vegas relocation is official. Now, we don't know where that is, but we know it's official. Let me share my screen. So I first saw this in the fan groups on Facebook, and you're the one that sent me this first.
Mm.
So credits to you. But it was interesting that the email first went to fans, season ticket holders. So this is actually an email from a season from a season ticket holder that was sent by the XFL, and it's the same email that I believe the employees of the Vipers received, according to Mike Mitchell. And I'll show that in just a second. But yeah, so following feedback from you, our fans, players, and local partners, the XFL has determined that the team will not return to play at Cashman Field for the 2024 season. We appreciate your support and patience as the league reviews all our options. We will provide information on a new home for the Vipers as soon as possible. So the big question here is it Vegas? I doubt it. I don't
Yeah.
know where they could play right now, and that's many other folks that are kind of screaming the same sentiment. What do you think about this, man?
So the funny part is, back when Vegas last year came out, I actually posted a video on my YouTube where I showed using Google Earth different possibilities, and actually had Sam Boy down there, and I knew that was completely not going to happen because once UNLV signed a deal once Allegiant Stadium opened, and that basically shut down Sam Boyd. I'm like, all right, that's out. Allegiant's out. So I kind of was, it's Cashman or Vegas ballpark. And I was shocked on this. Honestly, I saw this maybe coming. Hey, we'll wait for a season to play. The A's are going to become, their lease in Oakland. For any baseball fans out there, the lease is up at the end of the next baseball season. I figured, hey, you know what? They're going to have the A's come early. They're going to rearrange the baseball ballparks, and the Vipers are out. But seeing this threw me for a loop. I if they wanted to keep them in Nevada, I did share last year that Nevada Stadium, home of the Wolfpack, I think that would be a good spot for them. It keeps them in Nevada. You can have Nevada Vipers, and I think they kind of want something that flows. It works. And I think that would be a good fit if they wanted to keep them local. But I think they've made up their mind. It's either going to go Arizona or Nashville.
Yeah. I mean, there's other people, there's other media that's saying there are some different locations that have a probability, but they just haven't been mentioned yet. As we know, there's been a lot of stuff going on in Arizona. We had the combine. They're going to have some showcase. They're going to have another showcase there. The San Diego was interesting as well as a location for that next round of showcases. So who knows? That could be in the works. But
I saw San Diego too, and I did a video on that last year when I came out thinking that where the teams would be. I picked expansion to be Orlando, San Antonio, and I also picked San Diego. So that San Diego Stadium's brand new. It's right on the same property where the Chargers once played, so it makes sense. But I think it all comes down to dollars and cents with them.
Agreed.
And I think they want to make sure it's going to be a good stadium because they cannot do what they did last time.
I agree.
You can only spray paint grass so many times.
I mean, the first game I watched, it was DC, and so the kicker went to kick a field goal and just fell on his ass.
Oh yeah, it was like a cartoon character just completely slipped. It was like Charlie Brown slipping.
Yeah, and that's when I just shook my head. But yeah, I thought it was interesting as well. So I feel that 100%.
And I think they're going to keep everything close to the vest. When I first saw that, the person kind of cropped everything out. So I was like, is this legit?
Same.
You know, and then once I actually found the actual letter and sent it to you, I'm like, all right, this is real. This is confirmed as close you could be. And I got a feeling they're going to play everything, you know, keep it close to them. They're not going to say anything, because after they have to make sure this is 100% right. They can't make sure this is, hey, this sounds like a good idea. No, they have to make sure it is, because of the way it was last time. I mean, you had scaffolding for for a booth for offensive coordinators. It's like, come on, like.
And the wind was shaking. It was definitely an experience to watch.
Yes.
Even from home.
Yes. And I could only imagine how it was. I mean, I've been to baseball stadiums for stuff like soccer and stuff like that. It is a little bit of a different layout, and I think this time around it's going to have to either be, if they do Arizona, it's going to be probably Sun Devil, and which is interesting. Hey, Sun Devil hosted a Super Bowl once. People may forget that. Steelers and Cowboys Super Bowl 30. That was at Sun Devil in Tempe, Arizona. So it's got awesome qualifications.
Yeah.
And then Nashville, I don't see them playing in Nissan Stadium, but they do have a soccer team, and it's a brand new stadium. So it's going to have to be something where they're not going to have to change around any alignments or anything. It's going to have to be, hey, we can go there and play. And I mean, if you look at DC plays at a soccer stadium. There's no issues. It's close to the field, or the fans are close to the field. It really gives that excitement to it. And hey, listen, right now, if you look at a map of the United States, DC's kind of got nobody about it. So if you put Nashville there, that gives it a good chance to have not like a territory like rival, but it's there. And you also, you know, luckily the way Seattle is, you can bump Seattle from the north, put them with the teams in Texas, and now you have East and West like you've had for the past 2 times that the XFL has been in business. So you definitely have some possibilities. I think it's not going to be that much of a shock, because, I mean, Seattle to go play Texas or something like that, that's not going to be that far.
Yeah, I really like the West Coast setup. I hope they get something going that way personally. I feel like even the weather there is ideal for spring football. Getting something out that way is definitely going to make a difference, but who knows? Time will tell. Like you said, really, does it come down to the money, or does it come down to the best setup, or does it come down to just going wherever they can go? I mean, it really there's a lot of factors involved, but I greatly appreciate this as media and a fan that they actually told us this news. We didn't have to sit on it. We didn't have to speculate. We really got to discuss it. And I'll tell you, once this hit, it hit last Monday or Tuesday. Or I believe it was Tuesday last week. I had a show and we discussed it for 45 minutes. But every podcast, every media within the XFL or alt sports was discussing this. And honestly, you can see the power of those of us as a collaborative group right here, because we're getting this news.
First words in that release are feedback from fans. Exactly.
So I'm impressed by this, honestly, and it speaks volumes. I'm sad for the Vegas fans. It's going to be a loss of a franchise most likely, but the thing about it is it's going to better the XFL and going to give them more of a foothold to have a better brand that more people want to watch. So
yeah, if you get a stadium or a city that's really behind it, I mean, what was the max attendance for Vegas? 6,000, 9,000?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Get a stadium that's actually can hold more, and get like the city around it. You could be talking like 10,000 plus, and that 10,000 is going to beat 6 to 9,000 anytime.
Yes, sir.
So definitely, and back as soon as the season ended, they started looking at things about money and stuff like that. If you have a place where you can fit more people in the seats, it's more dollars. So I'm pretty sure anyone's going to take more dollars anytime.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. And like we've discussed on the show, there's investors. There's people that have a stakeholder in this, and they want returns. And so at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at. They want a return. And the fans matter and players matter, but they have to make something off this. They can't just be doing this for fun. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's good. I don't think it's a bad thing. I would much rather hear this right now, end of August, than end of December going into the season. So yeah, it's pretty good. Hopefully we'll get some news on the Houston setup as well and see what's going on with them. We know they're not going to leave cities, but just where they're going to play at, or if
And
they're going to
keep in
stay.
mind too, like I actually wrote down last year on Halloween, they made a big announcement. It was the teams and the cities. So if we're keeping in line with that timeline, 10/31 is pretty. What we're today's the last day of August. We're basically 2 months away from Halloween.
Yep.
They have some time to get everything going, and I think hey, this is their window. It's either make or break. But I mean, the word's out that Vegas. So I mean, I think once they made the announcement on 8/1 that Vegas and Houston wasn't there, I think everyone really started to see on hey the writing's on the wall. Everyone heard hey Houston's happy. They're going to have a stadium thing, but they know that Houston's going to be there, and I think everyone saw this as hey Vegas is on thin ice.
Yep, agreed. And we all knew that before. We could all see that. Even if they'd have had a winning record and won the championship, it still would have been a question of, are you going to stay? Are you going to? I mean, what are you going to do? So,
and I wonder too if with them having all their games on ESPN and everything, I wonder if ESPN, coming from a media background, you set up shots and stuff like that. I wonder if ESPN said, "Hey, it's either you rearrange stuff and make it work for us, or start thinking somewhere else."
Yeah, that's a good question for sure. I mean, like we always say, we truly don't know, but we can appreciate some transparency here, and I mean, like I said, it is what it is. I respect you, XFL, for letting us know and the fans know, and hopefully you'll be able to get these Vegas fans to go wherever you go as well, and keep building that fan base.
Mm-hmm. And you never know. Once the A's come to town, they get a new stadium. Maybe they get the wheels rolling on a couple more seasons. Maybe they look back at Vegas because look, you had the Vegas Outlaws, the first time around, and they that was kind of one of the original teams, and now they went back to it for round 3. So maybe they think of down the road, hey, maybe we have a chance to go spot, or you never know.
Agreed. Yeah, good points as well. I know we had discussed a little bit that you were talking about the A's, and we were going to discuss that tonight. You're brainstorming on that, and it's crazy how it just literally drops right before.
Yeah,
it's cool though.
Well, like I said, as a baseball fan, I'm unfortunately a Mets fan, a long time suffering Mets fan, and you still stuff around baseball, you hear it. So as soon as during the season they start talking, the A's are going to leave for Vegas, and I'm like, if you have the A's, you have the Raiders, and you have the Vegas Knights, Naki. Are you really going to care about a league that's not as prominent as those three?
Yeah.
So they're gonna put their focus. They're gonna put their tax dollars on different stuff, and it's at least we all saw it coming. I mean, if we were all completely like, oh wow, this was a shocker, then you probably haven't been a big fan, haven't been paying attention. So at least like I said, that release, the main part was the fans, and I think the fans helped persuade them to say, hey, listen, if we're going to give you money to sit in the stands, you got to pick a better spot for us.
Makes sense to me. But anywho, anything else you want to cover on that before we move on?
I think I'm good. If I think of it, we'll circle back later. I got all night.
No worries, brother. No worries. So yeah, we'll look forward to seeing where Vegas ends up, or the Vipers ends up. I got to quit saying Vegas, I guess. Huh? Who knows? They may stay in Vegas, but we don't know. It's all speculative.
I mean, hey, listen, Nashville Vipers does sound pretty good.
Like I said Tuesday, though, on the show, that weather in Nashville is rough come February, March. It's not fun for football, especially if you're outside.
And Nashville, I knew someone who went to Nashville, and hotels are cheap, but man, once you start going and paying for things, they have a bunch of extra taxes. Yeah. So if you for anyone who goes there, if they do put a team there, keep that in mind that they have like an entertainment tax, a tax on top of that. I mean, so just keep that in mind. You might want to bring a couple extra bucks.
Yeah, Nashville's a nice place, but it's exploded from years ago. I mean, when I went back, I've been to a few Titans games versus the Saints there, and it wasn't that big back then. This was like 16, 17, 18. I went to one in 21, and it was insane how much it grew, how busy it was from that time to then. But anyway, I look forward to you making it somewhere, Vipers. I know Dr. Blevins gonna lead you right wherever you are.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, that team's towards the end of last season, they started looking good. So
I agree.
mean, if you put the right coach in and you give them a good stadium, good, I think the players weren't big fans of the locker room stuff like that. You give them a place where they feel like they're home. I mean, I remember the clip where they were yelling Superman, Superman, and or I think that was and the guy just went right in. And I mean, that team, you give them a good spot. You give them a spot where there's a lot more eyes on it, a lot more fans in the stands. And the good part about the XFL, each home team has their own crew, so you're not playing in empty stadiums or stuff like that. You have people helping push you, and sometimes that might be the extra push that helps you. Fourth quarter, you're down by 3. That might be the extra push that helps them get to, championship level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's move on. Let's talk about some XFL to NFL updates. We got the practice roster squads for most of the XFL players. I'm going to pull
Hate
that
to say
up.
this, but true.
Yep. I mean, I'm happy with it. I'd rather some of them make it there than not at all.
Yeah.
The only person that made it anywhere was Daniel Whalen, and that's Green Bay Packers. He's the starting punter for them. According to this press release, we had 17 players, I believe is what it said.
I think 17.
So there it is right there. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. So some notable ones that I wanted to note were my Saints crew: Nico, John Trey, and Jack. Yep. We all made it. They all made it to the practice squad, and I was happy about it. Honestly, from watching training camp and the preseason games, I figured Nico and John Trey were going to be there. Wasn't real sure with Heflin, but I'm glad they kept him too, because he'll be a good secondary, good third person ready to jump in when necessary. I'm a huge Saints fan this way. I live like an hour from New Orleans, 45 minutes or something. But yeah, man, any of these players here that you really looked at that you thought were interesting? I know Lucky Jackson here. He's for the Minnesota Vikings, so that's pretty good.
I'm glad Lucky Jackson. I feel like with Minnesota, I mean, it's all about injuries. So I was, and everyone joked at me with my fantasy draft, but my last 3 rounds, I picked the XFL people because
I love it.
Hey, they're hungry. They're either going to do well, or hey, they get cut, but they're going to get recognition. I picked up Patrick because I think with Tennessee he would have been great. I picked up the DC running back. He was on Minnesota. I picked him up, and I honestly thought he was going to make main roster the way injuries were looking. But you know what? It gives them a chance to get their feet wet, show them out there, and you know what? All it takes is one good injury. I mean, it'll wreck any team season quick, and you get a player that's actually ready. I mean, who was coach of the Patriots coach? He was like, hey, listen, he likes the spring leagues because these guys are ready. They're not sitting on their couch. They've been running. It's a different thing to do drills and not playing a meaningful game and playing some meaningful games. Your mind's ready, your body's ready, and I mean that helps get a lot of them onto that squad.
Yeah, and then they had a little bit of recoup time before they actually had to go into training camp or anything else. It was curious to see how some of the USFL guys, I mean, they jumped right in to keep playing. They were just going to keep rolling. But, the XFL guys actually got a little bit of a break there to recoup.
I'm interesting to see what DiNucci does.
That's what I was going to bring up next.
With Denver.
Sir. Yep.
That's a name that I'm pretty sure everyone knows of when he was with the Cowboys, or now that he's with the Broncos. You never know. Like all it takes is one, especially quarterbacks. Your quarterback goes down half the time. If you're a playoff caliber team, your quarterback goes down, you start questioning, and you don't know how it's going to be. he can plug in and go, especially with Sean Payton.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. I agree.
he fits the he kind of reminds me of Drew Brees and or Wilson if Wilson struggles off the bat. And I mean the AFC West is pretty high level. I mean all the quarterbacks in those. Look at Mahomes. That's all you got to say.
I agree.
So I feel like with that, if Wilson goes down with the injury or he just is stinking up the Mile High City, put in DiNucci, let it see where it goes.
Yeah, I think if they start getting some stuff handed to him over time, you'll definitely see more DiNucci if possible.
Yeah.
He's just got to keep his composure. He can't be out there running his mouth like he did in the XFL. I mean, some of it's okay, but you cannot talk to your coach in the NFL like you were doing there in the XFL. No way.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah,
well, the good part for him is it goes from one team that wore orange to another, so hopefully the interceptions die down. He's used to throwing to that color, so.
Good point. Mike Guardiola, he always says that he doesn't like his release. He doesn't like how he throws the ball and releases it. And I think Mike's listening right now. I don't know if he is or not. He's at a football game, but we had a couple conversations about that in the past. Yeah, but anyway, I'm sure we'll have some more developments from the practice squads. I'm sure there'll be a few more people added here and there. I know this is like yesterday. It was just off the jump. Every hour the hour, there was something new happening. Not too much.
Well, because Tuesday, what was it? Yeah, because Tuesday, 4:00 was the deadline. Yep. So I think some of these people, these guys, I think the teams told them, hey, listen, this is an option. You're not making it here, but we would be happy to put you on the practice squad. So listen, it's a chance. And correct me if I'm wrong, practice squad, I mean, they still have a chance of going up to the XFL with the same teams next season, correct?
Yeah. They're still good. I mean, basically, if they get signed with a team and they get sent back down or cut or released or whatever, that team has rights to that player. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how they detail that out in terms of like rights, in terms of trading or whatnot. But I know, so for example, DiNucci, if he doesn't make it, he should be back with Seattle. It should be how it is from what I understand.
Hey, listen, I got a theory on who Seattle's quarterback will be next season, so that's a different story. So another guy, practice squad, PJ Walker.
Oh, golly, you're reaching there in the depths, sir. You're reaching in the depths.
The only thing I think of on that, June Jones was his coach.
Makes sense.
In Houston. So if he doesn't make it back up again, I mean, he's had that taste of being the star at Carolina. Now it's kind of like, all right, do you want to be in the practice squad or do you want a chance again to shine? That's where it's going to come down to. So, I like PJ Walker. So
I like him too. I mean, I've been. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Him and Jordan Ta'amu were really who led my interest in the XFL 2020 era. They just balling. I was a huge Battlehawks fan back then, but now it's kind of neutral. I really like.
Yeah, you gotta be neutral.
But I mean, I cover Houston, so they're my preference, and I like them the most because they're close. That's a 6-hour drive for me or something. Everything else is just asinine in terms of distance, where to go. So,
hey, listen, you're preaching the choir. I was a New York fan in 2020. Oh, wow. Now I'm a fan of the league because I can't really put roots down when. I mean, DC is them. I will say certain teams have social media that could persuade me to become fans. Not naming teams, but they wear orange and green. Just from sharing my stuff, like so many different groups and fan levels have reached out. I mean, I actually did them as part of like a series. The fans for them were great. You have fan groups and stuff like that, and I would just post one thing and one person would share 3. I have like 4 people sharing it from Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, which shocked me, but a lot of them have and it just kept spreading. So I'm like, wow, this is a really intense fan group. And out of the 8, I've seen it around. People have different sections, but I mean, this is close knit. I mean, I think that maybe if they get more fans, if the way they were on social media, if you get more butts in the seats, they're going to really have some sellouts.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, you'll see a lot of every fan group's a little different in terms of how they represent. Everybody's kind of got their own way of doing things, and each one has great aspects. And I don't think any have anything bad, honestly. There's not any toxicity or craziness. It's all in good love and positivity for the most part. And I agree. That's a good group of fans, and they really, really love their team. And even in season, you talk to some of them in season, and they're all about it. Like when they switched that game to that late hour, they were all about it. I mean, even though it was what was like a 10 o'clock game their time or something crazy.
Oh yeah,
they loved it. But personally, I don't know if I could do it. But that's just me. Yeah. Let's move on and talk about you some now. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to pull up your background information. And so I just want you to talk a little bit more. Tell me about your background. What exactly do you do? How you got started doing it? And I mean, let's just hear about you, man. I know you've created Tecmo Super, and you have different versions of that, correct?
Yes.
So the one I know of is XFL, but you have more. So yeah, man, just share your history, share a little bit more about you, and let everybody get to know you.
Yeah. So been doing this. So I've been in media for quite some time. In high school, I fell in love with it. Turned into going to college for communications and journalism, and it wasn't like how it was in high school. Hey, there's a fire and stuff like that. And it's like that's not my personality. All the fluff, all the good stuff was in the middle and stuff like that. So it kind of pushed me away.
Gotcha.
But I've always been. I grew up playing Tecmo Super Bowl, and there's two different versions. I should clarify that too. You had Tecmo Bowl, which came out in '89. That was the original version. You had four plays to pick from:
Heck
up
yeah,
A,
man.
down A, left or right A. And then Tecmo Super Bowl came out in '91. That's where it was back some of the teams where you had the three divisions, and you had the East, you had the Central, which is crazy to think about. Now, Central hasn't been around in years, and the West.
It's a whole different
So
time since when that game
yeah,
came out. It's
I'm
a
in
classic, though.
through 3 years. I've always been stayed into it. So a couple of years back, I found out some people have made a version where it was up to date versions. So me like a good chunk of other people, Madden kind of doesn't really cut it.
Yeah, I'm not for it.
Listen, I used to play on PS2 ESPN 2K5. That was great. And Madden just couldn't keep up with it. And then Madden signed a deal with the NFL. Now that's the official game. And because there's no competition or anything, it just got stale quick.
I agree with you.
Some of the guys look like, I'm a wrestling fan, but they look like wrestlers. Or, Ray Lewis looked like he was the Big Show. I mean, it was just crazy. So, I slowly, I would play through emulators. I would play Tecmo Super Bowl, different versions. I would play from there, and then what made me start doing this was I don't know if you saw, but I posted a video. So when I started this whole thing, getting back in the media field, I was just throwing around ideas. I'm like, I like the XFL. I did a video of the stadiums, just stadiums, for 1,000 views. I'm like, hey, there's some interest here.
Oh, definitely.
All right. And it helps, I used to do editing stuff. So it kind of, it shook the dust and cobwebs off and, started putting things in motion. And then after that, I did I threw together a video using Tecmo Super Bowl. And I had different versions of who would be 8 players that I would see or think that would make it in the 2023 version. Surprisingly enough, I believe I put AJ McCarron actually in that video.
Interesting.
But I changed, I had it as I think I had it as the Steelers, and I had playing the Raiders or something like that. It's just so it was with the color scheme and everything. And I'm like, this is cool. And then
Sounds cool.
I forgot how I stumbled it, but one day I just was looking it up, and I stumbled upon like different codes. I'm like, wow, I can make my own. And I'm like, right away, I'm like, I got to make this. I got to make a version that includes the three versions of it. 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, and put it together. So it was tedious, but it was fulfilling. You had there's been other versions. Someone had before me had made the first version of just the XFL, Vince's baby boy, where he had Chicago, New York, San Fran, stuff like that. Then someone else made a Tecmo Bowl version of the 2020 with the 8 teams, and I'm like, you know what? I think with all the different leagues that there needs to be one where you can actually have everything together. So you can put, you can have, and actually enough to be posting it soon. As you can see, one of them, I've done Chicago against the Bolts. I've done it where you've had Battle of Seattle, Battle of Houston.
Did you send me any of this? Do you want me to pull any of this up? I didn't. I wanted to ask before you got started.
Yeah, sure. If you want to click, the one where the 2 helmets, I think you might like that actually.
All right, and are we talking about what you sent or on Twitter?
On Twitter, if you want to click that, you could.
Okay, so click the actual picture or the link there?
Click the video.
Cool. Okay, hold on. I'll get a second. Share this. There we go. And I can play this. I'll turn the volume down.
And then what I call out all the shows, it's a variation. Instead of Monday Night Football, I changed it to Tecmo Night Football. Changed around the stuff because it's cool to have a kind of like a brand, I guess you would say.
Definitely.
I mean, these are the original players. I've actually I definitely know I sent you how I actually made the players come to be.
Let me see. Click that. Go to it. Which attachment is that going to be?
I don't remember.
Is it going to be like a spreadsheet?
Yeah, it was a spreadsheet.
All right, let me see. All right, I think I got you right here. Right there?
Yeah, so that was the spreadsheet of all the quarterbacks actually. And I used stats to put it all together. So I went off of QB's completion percentage, and from there I turned it into basically, as you can see in that small box, like a chart of, hey, if they're in this range, this should be their attributes and so on. And
so are you pulling this from stats that you're finding?
Yeah.
Or you're building this, like this is legit building from their actual stats?
Yeah, I mean, I went through depth charts from 2020 to figure out who was there, and if they weren't on the final depth chart, but hey, they had second on the team for interceptions or sacks, I put them in there because hey, something like that's definitely going to help them have better stats. And I mean, who's not going to want a guy in the defense that's got a little extra rough power and speed to go sack the quarterback. So I mean, this took a while, but it was worth it. I tried my best to match teams with the colors. You think it's tough because with Nintendo you only have so many spectrum for the colors. So sometimes you got to see what works. What you think is red is actually red orange. Or sometimes it's orange. For Seattle, actually, that was gave me an issue because you would play as them, and the white jerseys in orange, but the cutscenes would be all orange. And that actually is what the final quarterbacks were for the last the end of the season roster. So as you can see, completion percentage, and that definitely helped them get up there. A couple of them, if they had some rushing touchdowns or so on, that definitely helped them as well.
You'd be making some Battlehawk fans upset with the Quentin Dormandy being the same as AJ McCarron there, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, This is really interesting. How long does it take you to build this spreadsheet? Just the spreadsheet alone? Do you have
that I want to say I started everything in I would say sometime maybe August. So I started putting everything together, and that part wasn't as bad finding stats. I mean, with Excel, it's all formula. So once you come up with a formula, you put a number in, you're all set. Putting them into the game, that was completely different.
Oh man!
For the game, it was like individualizing each guy, and you're talking the original version. I mean, you had to change, the Bills quarterback. You had to change Dan Marino on the Dolphins. So you had to change stuff around so it fits. So I mean, I tried my best to keep it as real as possible. Because that's how you gotta have it be. I mean, some teams are going to work out better than the others. Like the Bulls, like you just showed. In Tecmo, it's either you have a helmet and pants that match, and then you have a jersey color. So a white helmet and a white jersey comes up all white. So you kind of have to range it around. So like some teams are permanently home teams or permanently road teams. Like the Bolts, they're rocking their purple jerseys. Actually, I just did a battle of St. Louis, and the 23 team was the home team because the silver helmet with silver pants and a blue jersey.
Gotcha.
So some of them I did modify. I mean, Seattle never wore, silver helmet, silver pants, and a blue jersey, but it looks good, and it's as true as possible. So I was kind of happy with that.
Gotcha. So do you have a website and such that you're doing this on, or are you just all through social media?
So all through social media. So each week, as you can actually see behind me, Tecmo Super Tecmo Night Football. That's what I like I said, I call it the main system. What I call it is a Gold Bowl, the greatest of all time. And you could always say, hey, this team was the best, or this team. How you actually can see, hey, was last year's Houston team better than 2020's? Or, hey, Vegas, who's better, the Outlaws or the Vipers? So it's kind of cool. And actually, let me find my remote. So this is actually how the teams came out. Let me adjust these a little. Hear me
So I'll put the screen just on you, okay, just for a second.
So those are actually the helmets. I know there are ways to add, and you don't really realize this with coding. A lot of the helmets in the original version had all these different codes. So I did it to keep everything simple, because if you do for one helmet, you could do the other. So actually at one point, and it was plug and play. I had the Houston, actually had the Houston Oilers logo for Houston, and it worked. But that also showed up in 3 other teams' helmets.
Gotcha.
With the codes. So I made it where, I kept it simple. And some of them I'm proud how they came out. Like we have 2020s, you have Houston, you have LA, and Seattle. I was pumped. Hey, I got a white helmet, green, it matches. I got the black, the orange. So small victories,
Yeah, coding's tough, dude. I've got some experience in that as well. And I mean, like you said, it's a lot of trial and error and just finding a solution that works. And it may be something crazy, but you just stick it in, and sometimes it fits. And so
yeah,
I understand. Did you have experience in coding, or did you just start doing it? Oh,
so to even back up further. Right before the world shut down in March of 2020. My birthday. I'm a March baby, so I'm like, oh, perfect. I'm gonna have.
I am as well.
March 24th.
Gotcha. I don't want to say mine on air. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's late March.
Hey, listen, I'm happy people send me gift cards or cake for my birthday. So.
Yeah, mine's close to yours. It's not far, brother. It's within a week.
Oh, nice. But yeah, so for in where I am, everything shut down the 23rd. So a little bit of a disappointment, but heading into it, I'm like, oh, perfect. I want to have a Tecmo tournament for my birthday, so I made a field and everything. Oh, it didn't happen, so I started playing Tecmo a lot more during COVID. So I was like, I had the feel for it. I would play on my laptop. I would play on my phone with emulators. So the juices were there, and all it took was literally find it. When you find something, oh, this is how it's made, let me give it a shot, and then I just took it from there.
Understood. So how many? Let me ask you this question. Having some experience in coding, how many lines of code is one team? Just the team, not the gameplay, not that they do, just the team and how they're decorated and their jersey designs.
It's hard to gauge that because in the game everything's separate. So the helmets,
Understood.
the helmets are 5. It's 5 double digits numbers. So it's left corner, right corner, left bottom, right bottom, and then like the face mask stuff like that.
Understood.
And then it's separated. And then you have your players. Everything's coded by their name. So there's a code for the alphabet even.
Gotcha.
So you have to plug everything in. Let's see if I actually. Oh, of course it won't work. On my title screen, yeah, that's each letter is a different code.
Yep.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like certain spots where it's like 40, and then I'll actually figured out what the alphabet was. So I'm like, all right, I want a T here. I want stuff like this. So it was all plug and play, but once you figure something out, it's all patterns too.
Yep.
So okay, well, if this is the pattern here, this is going to be the same pattern here. So it was a lot of messing around. I could tell you the final version that came out was maybe my 10th version of it.
That's not bad, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, to be not experienced and just winging it. Are you using software? What are you using? What program?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, no
There's a whole community for it, which is great. Like there's a whole, and what's kind of I feel awesome is there's an XFL community, there's a Tecmo community, and this is actually bringing everything together. So I have people on my X, or formerly known as Twitter. I'll post stuff, and people in the Tecmo community will be sharing it. There's people in the XFL community who love it; they share it. So it's kind of awesome to be like the bridge between two communities. And everyone thinks the XFL is one. There's so many different other aspects, but you wouldn't know about it. So it's kind of nice to bring everything together.
No doubt. So actually, we've talked a little bit about how you started. I've got this question listed. Is there anything else you want to share about how you became the creator of it and how it just came to fashion?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, plug and play. I could tell you there's some awesome people who've made games in the past. So there's like a message board with the community, and it's like, hey, how would I do this? How would I do that? Like, if you actually ever played the original Tecmo Super Bowl version, there's an intro and everything. I'm like, I don't want that in there. I want it to be, hey, you turned this on, you're ready to go.
Understood.
There's other codes like the XFL is big about the kickoff, having say kickoff and everything. I figured out through testing, through reading, I figured out there's a code in this game that the kickoffs are not timed. When I did the rosters, I made sure the fastest player is your kickoff returner.
Gotcha.
And it's where the computer can't kick it out of bounds. So you're getting the ball to 20 every single time. So there was one game, I actually am working on that video soon. Abram Smith, actually six kickoff returns in one game.
Wow. Is there any kind of juking or shaking, or is it just straight up running like old school?
It's straight up running.
Gotcha.
I mean, this isn't where you have speed burst or anything. This is literally left, right, up, down. So
old
they have
school,
the attributes. It's just it's not even like a Henry stiff arm or anything. It's just literally just up and down, and it's kind of like you ever seen Family Guy where they have Bo Jackson, that clip?
Oh yeah.
Or basically that's what it is. So it's a lot of fun. And each week my main goal is to once I figured out and I had it and everything, I came up with different versions. So I had a version when the season came out. I made sure I had a season, and it was tough. I will say it was tough with the depth charts because a lot of stuff came out late. So I was trying to make sure this was good to go when the season kicked off. But you had teams come out, but you didn't know what the colors were or what the jersey or anything.
Yep.
So once that came out, okay, now who's playing on teams? So
that's a lot of work right there, man.
Yeah. So it was a couple of late nights, but you know what? It was not like I do have a regular job and everything, but it was kind of nice because at nights we're like, all right, everyone's in bed, 8 o'clock. I'm working on this till midnight, And it was like you wouldn't even realize, like, wow, I just did all this. Oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I should probably go to bed. I gotta be up in a couple hours.
Hey, I understand that. I get that. I don't have the same content, but I've got the same grind going on my end, so I get it, man. You definitely, when you're doing something that you're passionate about, it's easy to lose track of time, for sure.
And then once I I tried, like I said, I was trying to keep it as accurate as possible. So in the beginning, I had a stadium, and because I knew Progressive was the sponsor in 2020, I'm like, you know what? Wonder if Zuo is going to be it, because it's got some ties. We all know to who. And I put that as the logo, where it should be. And I just painted neutral end zones. And then on my final version, I might be able to pull it up if I hit the right button. I actually did, I couldn't fit Progressive, so I did Progress. And then since most stadiums, the teams only went with green end zones, I went with, as close as possible, because I really wanted it to be realistic, This is in my opinion, the unofficial game of the XFL, and so many people have said, hey, there should be an XFL game and everything. Like, hey, hi, I have the unofficial game. Come play it, and it's taken off. It's got actually over 500 downloads.
Wow, dude! Where do you have it? Where is it? Just your own website?
It's on TecmoBowl.org.
Okay,
and I also have the link too on my link tree and everything. I'll post it again. But
I'll post it in the notes as well. It'll be easy to access if y'all are listening. You'll just click a link.
And then, all you need is an emulator for Nintendo, because it's Nintendo based. So I know I have NES Utopia. I have that. I Google Play. If you have an Android or Samsung, you just Google that, and you can just literally download it and play it. Okay. And it's, like I said, it's plug and play. It's not like you got to figure out the plays or everything. As long as you kind of have an idea, hey, this is a running play, this is a pass play. Oh, ace a snap, beat a pass, you're good. It's not like you have
from
to study,
the old one,
read
man.
a playbook.
I used to get my tail whooped as a kid playing this, because until I got good at it. Simple pass plays, throwing picks. I'm like, what is going on here? It takes a little bit to get the hang of it. So, yeah. It's definitely a fun game. It looks simple, but it's not as simple as what it appears to be.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And, I've seen versions where there's, fumble codes and stuff. I don't know what I did. And I'm like, I'm not going back to fix it because I'll mess things up. There's a fumble glitch. And I don't know where it is, but I love it because you'll have the ball on one guy and he's about to get tackled. All of a sudden, a lateral happens. Someone else has the ball and they're about to score. So, and it doesn't come up all the time if there's a fumble. So it kind of keeps you on your toes. You're like, hey, I got a shot here, and you don't even know which guy you're controlling. So that's the only bad part of the game.
Wow, that's pretty good though. You got to have some unpredictability there, man.
Oh, yeah,
you can't be all straight up.
Oh, yeah. When I first came out, because I was trying to make sure for the first game of the season, I'm like, all right, depth charts are out. I have everything set. Let's go. And then I would actually on my YouTube and social media, I would post like teasers, like who I think will win based off of the rosters and everything. And it was so hard because I wanted to do the Sea Dragons. And the orange would bleed. You would there was codes because
on there.
Yeah, in the original game, that's actually the Chiefs spot. So the Chiefs, you have to put in a certain code, so they're like white and red. So I made it work where it was like that, and during the whole season, I would have it where I would estimate or guesstimate who would win. I would do just seeing numbers and stuff like that. Oh, I think this team's got a shot. This team's got a shot. And then I would post recap videos, and
that's I don't know if I watched a lot of.
Yeah, I liked it because there's a game that, and it took multiple parts on that. That is, back in the day on Super Nintendo, there was a Sunday Night Football or ESPN football game. So that's actually the screen I changed. I cropped out the center of it, and then I would post whatever I had as the video of the highlights and stuff like that.
Interesting. So you're having to be very creative in how you do this. This isn't just a, hey, I'm going to type up some code. I mean, how much time do you spend on this a week on average? What do you think? Give me an estimate.
Maybe a couple hours, two or 3
bad.
hours. I mean, I got to do something my lunch break,
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
But each week I tried, I took a couple weeks off for vacation, but like each week I have it where, and I try to do different stuff. So like in the beginning, it was Seattle, and actually worked out well with Instagram. I would post, hey, if you had to rearrange and make the perfect, and because it worked with some of the teams, because you had the Sea Dragons and you had the Dragons. Like if you had to make the best home uniform out of Seattle, what helmet works, what jersey works, and stuff like that. So I would do that. I would post, I like to call, because it's Thursday, like Tecmo Tees Thursday. And I would always do like the Monday Night Football intro of the two teams with the helmets. Can't really get it to collide. I'm not that advanced yet. But that's what you saw with the in the intro. And then I would just simulate with two computers, because I know the rosters. I know some teams are really good. Not to have a favorite, but I do have I did mention one player who I was a big fan of, who's but yeah, I mean, because if I was playing, I think the outcome would be different. But some of the games was there was actually a tie in one of them. So XFL now has that. One thing is you don't have extra points in the XFL. But in Tecmo Super Bowl, there's no 2-point conversion.
Gotcha.
So by default, I had to go with the extra point. And then for overtime, of course, same thing. I did it where it was untimed, but hey, there has to be a winner when you play it. If it's simulated, unfortunately, there's a tie, but it doesn't really affect it too much.
Understood. I mean, it's not a bad rule there. And honestly, dude, I mean, how many football games end in ties? Not too many anymore.
Yeah. Hey, who was it? I didn't know we could end in a tie.
Exactly. So I know you talked a little bit about some other stuff you did, like other leagues. What other leagues are you actually including in this? I know you said different XFL generations, but what else?
It's straight up XFL. So it's like I said, it's Tecmo Super XFL. And then it's if you go to the season mode, it's like GOAT regular season, because you're trying to figure out who is the greatest of all time. And you would have in season mode, you have your divisions as 2001, 20, and 23, and then you have it's subdivided by division. So the first two you have East and West, and then you have North and South.
Is this the screenshot you sent here? Is this appropriate time to pull that up? You got West, South, Central, and East, and you have teams in each one.
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I just don't want to waste any good materials if we're using them,
Yeah.
I think it's this one right here. There we go.
Oh, that's So that's actually what I'm calling is GOAT Bowl.
Gotcha.
Greatest of all time. So that is basically based off of matchups, and I did it where any team that's played, like you're gonna have the Battle of New York. You'll have Battle of Orlando, which is cool because you're gonna have the 23 Guardians against the 01 Rage, and it's matchups you're not even gonna think of, which is great. It's like true fantasy booking.
Yeah. And then, it's like and these are all the original players you got put in, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's neat.
So some of the matchups, I mean, Memphis, Tampa. I mean, I didn't have a clear opponent for them, but I'm like, all right. If you look at East, you have Orlando, you have New York, and you have DC. I'm like, well, we'll make it work out. And like I said, it's been a blast. If you look at the Houston one, that was the first one and the only one so far to go to overtime. And just watching the game to edit, that was incredible. That was one of those where it's like I'm watching this like, oh wow, I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, oh man, they tied it. It's gonna be overtime. I mean, so I get into it just watching it, and then I kind of have an idea of like what works. And then I've slowly been getting into it with on YouTube with the reels and stories, just posting like, hey, first touchdown, because sometimes it's a kickoff return. I could tell you right now, the Sea Dragons, Gordon. I mean, you kick it to him if you all you got to find is an open field.
Gotcha.
Houston. I mean, so some of these are just completely awesome. And it's a lot of fun to see. It's also a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to play this probably tonight after we talk. Honestly, coming in talking to you, I thought that this was actually you just running simulations and creating content videos. I did not know truly that this was a game that you could play.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. I'll make sure to post everything in the notes and even instructions, like you said, for an emulator. That's awesome, dude. I'm excited to get on this myself because, like you said, football games are just, let's be honest, they're garbage now.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't much out there. I think the last good football game I played was Madden 2012. I think that was the last one that I played that I liked. So this is really exciting, man. And I'm glad that you're doing this. Hopefully you get picked up, get some sponsorships for going so you can keep growing this thing and make it something.
My main goal right now is, so YouTube rearranged things, so it went from 1,000 subscribers to 500. So I'm actually doing this promotion where, so right above me, that R8, I hit it off with some guy on Instagram who does pixel art. So I touched base with him, and I'm actually running a promo that once I hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to, so like you see way above the television, you have all 32 helmets. And they are in proper matchup too for week 1 of the season. I made sure of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I had that display. I'd put it like right down there in this wall somewhere.
Listen, eBay.
Got you, bro. That's where, like, I've collected a lot of things now, and I mean, I'm impressed by those helmets. Truly.
Yeah, and the funny part was this is the latest helmets. The only thing off is it has the Washington football team, but everything else is up to date. And the way helmet rules are now, I don't think we're really going to see some major helmet changes. So I'm good for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
I won't feel bad.
You might get those bubble pads up there, but I don't think helmets will change. Also,
yeah,
you know they.
But
talk
yeah,
about
so once I
adding
hit
those.
500, I'm doing a contest where all social media involved, Insta, Twitter, Facebook, on YouTube. I'm going to run a contest where you could get one of those 32 NFL teams, or if someone's a diehard XFL team fan, I'm down to figure that out too, and I will have a helmet made for them, just like that R8, and sent to them.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Keep doing that stuff. I know it's a grind, and I know it is, but just keep doing what you're doing. You got a great product here, and I mean, it's a passion project for sure, but I know personally, YouTube's been a slow grind for me. Usually Facebook and Twitter are a little more popular, but definitely I'll share your stuff out. You know, if you create posts, just let me know. Send them my way, and I'll share them out and try to help you out.
Yeah. And tonight after this, I'm going to be doing the simulation of the Chicago Enforcers against of 2001 against the 2023 St. Louis Battlehawks.
That's
just
awesome.
To show, that's what's cool about the matchups too. If you go back to the main chart, like everything's set up, mostly as teams. Like the West or the South, you had Dallas, you had Houston, and then whoever won met. So I had 01 Houston playing against Luis Perez and those Renegades.
Gotcha.
And then from there, Houston actually won. They went out to play San Antonio. So now you're having the 01 Roughnecks against the 23 Brahmas to go from there. And I'm pumped because that the way everything went, it's the 01 San Francisco Demons against the 2020 Houston Roughnecks.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Do you stream those live or do you just put those on recorded?
I edit it because if I did do like the full thing, there's a lot of extra, not like stuff like you really need, but like I just keep it simple as the big plays or stuff like that, and it cuts down because I hate to say this, but some people really don't. You don't have that like focus, like, oh, watch it for like a minute and you're done. And
That's it.
YouTube's big on that. Well,
Yep.
they want people watching the full video. So if I keep it short, where they're, where it's like, hey, you see the game, cool. But if some of these matchups are a little longer, but hey, to see a game that's 41-38, I mean, right now there's a writer's strike. You're not really going to have fall TV this year. So, hey, take a look at the channel.
I mean, a lot of people want a game with these teams.
Yeah.
Not necessarily one set of these teams, but just any of these teams, whether it be old fans or new. This is something that's going to catch interest. And whether you just want to watch or actually play, you have the opportunity to do both. So that's pretty cool, brother.
And I think the coolest part of everything was, to post everything and to make the game is one thing. To see people post on Twitter, it's like, oh man, I did this game. It's like, your heart is like, whoa, hold up, that's my thing right now that they're sharing. It's like, whoa, so it's just like huge feeling too.
That's awesome, brother. And it's good that you get that from that. That's what I had Evan on the other night, and he was talking about how he couldn't really believe, the position he was in now. And my thing is celebrate your success. Even the small win's a win. And it sounds like you're getting there. And the more people find out about your product, the more they find out you're dedicated to it and you're willing to do things, it's going to keep growing confidently.
And I mean, I've been watching the XFL since day one, 2001. I mean, I'm a WWE fan, watch SmackDown, UPN tie-in. So I remember seeing the games.
Classic stuff right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I don't know if you've ever seen the 30 for 30 version. That I highly recommend if anyone hasn't watched that. If you have,
it's kind of old, right? It's not old, but it's not new.
Yeah, it's not new, but I mean that kind of triggered the revitalization of spring football, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
You have that documentary. Vince starts thinking, "Hey, let's do another one." You have the AAFs, be born.
Next question concerns them, but yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to put them in there? I think that would be pretty neat. So you got a lot of fans, bro, from the AAF. That was me. I'm 32. So that was my first adult taste of spring football. And that's where I fell in love, honestly.
Oh,
Memphis
nice.
Express. Yep.
I haven't gotten that part yet. Because it's like, all right, do I do another, or do I have like other projects? So this took off so well that I hit it off with another person on YouTube and Twitter. So I have actually done voiceover recaps for it, and we hit it off. So actually, my next thing is we're teaming up to do a greatest of all time for NFL.
Awesome, dude. I bet you'll get a ton of hits on that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt.
As a diehard Ravens fan, it's like, oh, cool. Like you could put like Lamar Jackson with, Ray Rice or something like that,
Yeah, especially coming in that first year or two that he was there. There's some really good stuff you could put out.
Yep. So that, and then another thing is, so as a wrestling fan, you see some stuff. So and it's all about like, so some of these programs, like I said, it's plug and play. So I've test the waters, and there's a WrestleMania Steel Cage challenge or something like that. Being a wrestling fan, and having friends wrestling, I have thrown out the idea of maybe making something like that too. I mean, it's going to be a basic game, but to see Roman Reigns, I mean, plays Roman Reigns in a Nintendo game. I mean, someone needs to do it.
Agreed. Yes, sir. I had a couple comments I'm going to throw in here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So I just checked it. This is from our conversation about Nashville earlier. Mark says my money's on Nashville. I mean, I hope you have a lot of money, Mark. And then the next comment I got here is from Mike. First time viewer, I've been thinking about an XFL USFL merger. I'd love to share my idea. Hey, Mike, if you check me out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, PM me. Let's talk from there. All right, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, sorry to interrupt you.
If you look at the USFL, the way they came out, I feel like what was it, Johnson, Daryl Johnson, I think, he was with the XFL in 2020, and then he did the USFL. And if you notice, there's a lot of ties from the original 2020 version and the new league.
Yeah. I mean, you got to, honestly. It's that's what people liked. I fell in love with that 2020 league, the jersey colors, the attitude, the games. I mean, a Battlehawk game was so awesome, man. I'm a Saints fan, like I said, but the Battlehawk game was the closest game I've ever been to that was similar in taste and feel.
And even like watching it, I mean, so you could feel the energy in that building. I mean, the NFL did them wrong, and the fans are still football hungry. I mean,
yes, sir.
That's a perfect spot for it. And yeah. I noticed trends and stuff. I noticed something big about Seattle for next season. I don't know I want to name anything.
Let's wait. We're going to talk about. Yeah. I'm going to ask your opinion more on the XFL here in a minute. Yeah. We're almost done talking about your show, your game. I just want to make sure that we get everything out before we move on.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll send you everything so you could because I'll send you links too to make it as easy as possible, so people literally just have to download the game and download a thing to play it on and just go from there.
Yeah, if you shoot me the hyperlink in an email, and I'll make sure to include that in my notes. Yeah. And then I can also share that out for you randomly whenever you need. That's where most of my stuff comes from, is I get a lot of engagement on Facebook. And I don't mean necessarily likes and comments. It's just actual viewers on my posts and stuff. So, yeah, dude, anything you need, I'll help you out with for sure, because I want to get your product out there. My whole thing is a collaboration. I want to collaborate with everyone possible within this realm, because we are this realm. We make it. We make this what it is. So make sure to highlight people like you. Have you ever been on a podcast talking about it before?
No, this is the first time. I did an experimental podcast when I was launching this, what I called Go Bowl. And I did it on Spotify, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll try keeping it with the regular season with this bracket I was doing, but the bracket was so time consuming, and once you get into it, like, what, let me spread the word that way, because it's a lot easier to see the games. I did grow up with radio commentary for a baseball game, but to do it for a video game, it's a little different. So at least you're able to see everything, and all it takes is for someone to quickly look at it. I mean, hey, look, I'm on here because you saw some of the stuff I post. So
yes, sir.
What's great about this game is, it just goes to show that the community, the XFL, stretches so wide. You have every little part. There's something about it, which it's kind of like a big brotherhood, So you have you in the media. There's other media stuff. And everyone's it's a brotherhood, and as long as the brotherhood's strong, I think I see it growing.
Agreed. That's what I always say too. Everybody's got their own piece here. Everyone's got their own place. And sometimes it takes time to figure that out. I know initially you said you did an experimental podcast. I did an experimental podcast too, where it was just audio. I didn't have any video. I had a different crew, produced and edited. It was very different. But now we've evolved into this, and this right here, it's my love and enjoyable for me, especially. Here, got a couple comments here. Make Rick the face of the XFL. I like it. Let's do it.
Hey, I've told everyone I work with, I'm either going to get a call saying, hey, cease and desist, or congratulations, you've been hired. So
I feel that one 100%.
I'm hoping for option 2.
Hey, I think as long as you're making positive content and not trying to make a huge dollar or capitalize wrongly on what you're doing, I think you're fine. Give credit when it's due. Make sure that it's announced that this is your passion project and you love it, and you're not doing it to make a profit.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could really make a profit with this. You can get a lot of views and fans, but if you're not getting 10, 20, 30,000 views on your stuff, you're really not making no money, man. Yeah. It's all for fun. And so, yeah, it's good, man. Hey, I got another one here from Mike again. Do you play Wolverine Sports College Football? It's a great Sims game on PC. Have you ever heard of that?
I have, but surprisingly, I'm not a college football guy. Yeah. I hate to break anyone's hearts out there. I work Saturdays. So by the time I get home Saturday, the least thing I care about is that I care more. All right, before I go to bed, I gotta set my fantasy lineup.
Understood. Yeah, drafts will be soon. Oh, Mike got a comment here too. He wants his $9. We got an inside joke here. His work's worth $9. So
He was on last week or something like that. His
he
name
was on a
sounds
couple
familiar.
weeks ago. He's my editor in chief for the content contributors. He helps organize some of that and try to get us some content from those guys and just keep conversations going, get data out. If I wouldn't have heard about what happened from you prior to the show, I would have seen it in the group message that we're in together. So that's kind of where we're going. You know, like I said, it's good to have a team. And even for you, you talked about hooking up with some guys and getting some progress with trading back and forth in terms of like services and just helping each other. That's what we try to do also. And it's hard to do this by yourself, man. To produce it, get the guests, get the show, get all the tech right. It's tough. So yeah, Mike's
Hey,
a good guy.
you guys are doing a good job. I mean, for
Thank you.
me, I've been trying to watch you guys with your shows, but the good part is if it's not, it's gonna be on. You know, I have Spotify, so I couldn't catch last podcast, so I was listening to it the day after. So
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
you guys are doing a great work. You're keeping the word out. I mean, and right now it's the off season, but for me, this is my season. You know,
Exactly.
with everything. So I think the more eyes you get on yourself during the off season, it's going to help you once January kicks off.
Yeah, no doubt. I know last year I wasn't nowhere in the position I'm in now in terms of actual fans and people that listened, but it blew up last year. Just the Facebook engagements and stuff alone blew. I mean, 500,000 million or so engagements a day. And so I expect you as well come this next season. Your stuff probably will hit the big time in terms of actually, people looking.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean,
some of the
it happens
teams
fast.
Too. If you look behind me, I have some the years. So actually, I've made some teams where people have posted my stuff on Twitter, or I've hit off with some people through Instagram and stuff like that. So some of the teams are actually real players that I actually
awesome.
Friends with stuff, because it's like a way to show support. You know, it's like, hey, you know, how often can you say, hey, actually, I was in a video game, and I put myself as wide receiver. But there's a group of people I know, and I did like a promo video for them, and I put 4 of them in the game, and it was cool. I did it for them. Hopefully, it goes out. They do a really awesome podcast. They talk dads and football and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's all networking, but it's when you're doing something you love, it's not really networking.
Agreed. It's just finding friends at that point, to be honest.
100%.
Finding some relevant people to talk about, what you want to talk about. I will say confidently, I have not had a guest yet that I couldn't sit and keep talking to for hours. Every guest I've had on here, we've had real conversations and legitimate conversations about a numerous range of topics. We start with something, just like right now, we start with something and then it branches off, and it's productive conversation. So I agree with that. And that mindset's really going to get you to stand out, than trying to be a certain way or have an ego about your product.
Yeah.
So let's move on and talk about a little bit more about your game. All right. Just a couple more questions regarding it. How do you see it evolving? What do you see, next couple of years or next year out? What's some changes you're going to make or looking forward to making?
So I would love to make a version where, so right now, if some people have come out with Tecmo Super Bowl for the 2023 version. So, I mean, there are versions where it's 32 teams, and I would love to do it where you have 01, you have 20, you have 23, and 24. So I'm kicking around that as long as it's not where I have to start from scratch. If I could just add teams, then we're in business.
Gotcha.
Because I like the way the field came out. You don't really realize it, but when you play this game, no matter if you play this version or the original, whatever the midfield logo is, it's actually the same in the game. So if I actually pull this up, so that XFLX right there, that code is exactly the same where it is at the 50-yard line. So you have to make sure that things line up the right way. So I'm gonna see if adding teams I could. If not, then maybe I get rid of 2001 and keep it just 20s. So I mean, I think the sky's the limit. Whatever comes in, starts working, it's plug and play, and I'll just go with from there.
Gotcha. Just curious. I know. I mean, in terms of the cities, so I mean, right now, look at the Vipers. So you don't actually put the cities like the Vipers right here. They just have the Vipers. So that won't be a change you have to make, correct?
For Vegas, it's so the 20. I separate everything. If it comes up. So on the thing, so to separate everything, so when you do the game, it's each city is actually a 4-digit code. So it's so if you're doing New York, it could be N.Y. Like I did for the Hitman, or it could be NYG period for the Guardians. So it's all about that. I did the 23 like that to separate everything because you can't put Vegas in Vegas. It will throw off the thing. As weird as this sounds, there's St. Louis Battlehawks. There's one. You only have 10 letters, so you could only do Battlehawk. You can't do Hawks. So you have that's the only way to separate the two difference in the system. So it can tell, hey, I'm not going to put Tamu on the 2020 version.
Understood.
So that's the only way it does that. So it helps the computer. It also helps people because, I mean, if you don't know the colors off the top of your head, you kind of don't know what you're looking for. So at least with this too, I mean, you're able to tell the difference. And luckily, knock on wood, everyone's kind of changed it up a little. As much as a lot of people hated it, it worked out.
So let's move on. I mean, you got any more about the Evolving? I got some more comments I'm going to throw up.
No, yes. Throw them up.
Cool.
See what we got.
So Mike message again. They've got a pro game too. You can have a league as little as 4 teams and as many as 72 teams. So
wow.
That's a pretty big game there.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's like one of those, hey, I'm going to be stuck in a snowstorm for like 3 days with like 18 inches of snow, and I need something to keep myself busy.
Yeah, or you're just sitting at work with nothing to do, and you got to have something to pass your time. Let's see. We got some more. Mike, XFL is providing the opportunity for more than just players, and that's evident, and I see that. You see that because we're both here right now, and wasn't for XFL, I can't say confidently I would be here doing this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I went to school for media. I work in sales, not the path I envisioned, but, with this, it's helped shake off the dust with, my YouTube videos with the editing and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, I love media again, because after college, it's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it, touch it or whatever. And now it's like this. So it's like, all right, let me do stuff. And I evolved by, I mean, if you look last season before the XFL had games, I was doing Tecmo simulations actually of games. So I actually even did the Chiefs Eagles in the Super Bowl, stuff like that. So you kind of you plug and play and what works, what doesn't. But it's kind of cool. It really keeps your mind. It's like, what can I do to make it better? Or I like this. How can I change it? Because a regular game, I mean, we're talking like the square behind me. That was the format of the game back in the day. 1 by 1. Now everything on YouTube 16:9.
Yeah.
It's different. It's like, how do I make it so on the games like you show with that Chicago Bolts game? I have it where the logos are down the center. I made a big giant scoreboard and it looks great. Plug, trial and error.
Understood. I got a couple more. Mike, don't know if you mentioned the AAF. Yeah, I asked him about that specifically, Mike. He's all XFL for now. I mean, you can't add more teams if you wanted to, right? Yeah. So you got to do XFL or do something different.
Plus, it's you're able to compete maybe down the road because you have an AAF, you have Memphis, and you had in one you had the Maniacs. So I mean, there's possibilities. You never know, too. I mean, I'm liking right now with this Goat Bowl where I have the teams all going against each other. Battle of Dallas and Arlington or Houston. Down the road, I'm still going to have. The East is up next, so we're going to have DC. We're going to have Washington. We're going to have New York. We're going to have Orlando. So I think it's cool like that because you could really. It's like fantasy booking where you have baseball or football. If this guy played then or what. It's kind of cool where you could kind of literally be like, oh wow. Like, hey, would this work,
Yep. Understood. And I agree with you. And I mean, I asked you that just because I like the AAF and would love to relive that fantasy of seeing it in some capacity again.
I do know, and I'll go look back. So what's great about the Tecmo community, a lot of people have made different versions. Where I've seen it, where people have made it where you had the HBC colleges. You've had it where people have, like I've told you, I'm going to make a greatest of all time version. So people make their own version. So I will look to see if there is an AAF, or I do know someone back in the day made a USFL one. That's pre the new U 2.0 version of it. So anything
Gotcha.
I see, I'll send it to you too, because I mean, from people that are chiming in, it definitely seems like there's still interest in it, and retro gaming is a thing now. I mean, back in the day, if you're playing Tecmo or Nintendo back in the 2000s, people look at you weird. Now you're playing Tecmo in 2023. Hey, that's community now. So you go from outcast to being part of something.
We're all wanting to catch that happiness from those years, and so that's definitely a piece that reminds you of that happiness, even if it's like this or Pokemon or whatever your thing is, pinball. I mean, everybody's got something unique. Now I got another. Go ahead.
It's all about simple times too. I mean, now we're all. I mean, there's an app for everything. Everyone's worried about AI. I mean, now you can still play something retro and it's still going to bring out the joys, like joy you played as a kid or a teenager, and you're right back in it.
Yeah. I recently got a red Game Boy, Super, I think, or Advance, I can't remember. And man, I can't find any games hardly for it. I have a few that I've acquired, but I can understand the nostalgia, and being early 30s, that really didn't hit me until probably last year. I didn't really feel that until now. COVID really aged everybody out a little bit, but
I mean, there's also ways about it. I mean, Nintendo is pretty good with having stuff where, I mean, I have a DS or something. I was gonna actually, because I wanted a hard copy of my game, because it's one thing to play on your phone, but I wanted a hard copy. And there's ways where you could get like an SD card of a game and put it on. You could play like a game. And I tried it a couple times. It didn't work. I found on Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day, a thing where I could plug in and actually have a controller to my thing. And I'm like, hey, this is the closest thing I'll get. I'll take it.
That's cool though. I mean, and there's no telling what'll come out technology wise to assist you in that in the near future. I had another comment. Let me see. Where's it at? So Mark, I gotta address it just because it's in the live stream. Mark says he got some feedback or echo on Rick's mic. Rick, your mic isn't bad, I don't think, man. You got a little bit of noise there, but there's nothing too bad. It's usually when you're speaking. Mm-hmm. But guys at home, you got to remember he's not a podcaster. He's not. This is his first visit on a podcast, officially. So I think you're doing good, Rick. No worries.
All I care about was my background the past few days. So
I think you're doing fine, man. I just had to address it because it was in the comments.
I'm just happy I was able to, find. I had the football from 2020 because in college I did a DJ show for 4 years called the Rock Renegade. So as soon as the Renegades came out in 2020, I'm like, I got to get something that says Renegades on it. So I got the ball, and then when COVID hit, Emblem Source, which does all the MLB patches and everything, they're running a stupid deal where I think it was like buy one get one free or something like that. And once the XFL announced they weren't coming back, I saw the patches and I grabbed them. I think I spent like $40, got the whole thing, and I even. Like I said, longtime suffering Mets fan, I got a Mike Piazza retirement patch too for $40. I mean, you can't go wrong.
No. I bought this jersey, the PJ Walker jersey, and the painting above it from a fan online. I need to give him a shout out too because I haven't done that. But it was $60 for the jersey and $20 for the painting, and that's a steal for me. I mean, that jersey's in excellent condition. I don't even think he ever wore it. And so, I mean, I can't wear it with my big tail. It's a medium, but still, it's still awesome to have it.
Well, it goes back to also what that someone said before. I mean, the XFL, they always say it's like, a player's opportunity, media stuff. If you told me 5 years ago, hey, you're going to create your own video game, I would have not even thought of that, So it's not only players, but it's also a lot of the fans a chance to get back on board with something, or someone in the media, or, I mean, some of the guests you've had, I mean, some of them have promising futures, like the guy covering the DC Defenders,
Christian?
It's all foot in your foot in the door, and it's the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it just takes putting yourself out there and doing it correctly. Don't be negative and trying to catch headlines. That's my thing. But yeah, the opportunity is given for everyone around this thing, and it's evident too when you go to the games. Hopefully, you'll get to go to a game sometime, and then get to go as actually a content creator and media person, because it's a whole different world, dude, and it's a whole different experience. And to be honest with you, that's what really got me by the toes, pulled me in completely, was those games as media. I've always been in athletics, football, coaching, playing, training, whatever. But this, once I did this, it was sweet.
I've read I've listened to the videos and stuff, so kind of got a background of you. I'm like, this, and you're a good example. I've heard you've went from being a fan to now you're covering the Roughnecks and the Saints. I bet 5 years ago you probably would have not even thought about that.
Nope. I was too busy screaming at Saints games and acting a fool to even care about anything media back then. Yeah. Ken, I appreciate that comment, bro. I'm working on this wall. I'm trying not to add too much here because it may get too much, but I've still got stuff to put up and hang up, and I don't even know where to put it. I will be probably trying some different camera angles as we go forward. But as you see, each show I make some progress on my stuff in the background. I try to, at least.
You should get one of those. Like they have like an LED scoreboard. You definitely should get one of those.
Dude, I thought about that, or just like the sign that says my name, the show name.
Yeah.
But like I said, dude, it's like what I got, and I got to get up from this thing, so I got like 2.5 feet here to slide out. But yeah, it's cool, man.
Appreciate I was doing that Ken. Like once I set everything up last night, I'm like, all right, this chair cannot move from the location. So it's like, man, I got to reach over this and slide over and sneak under the table. So I know your pain.
Got someone checking in from Southern California. What's up? I bet you're hoping for that San Diego team.
Listen, whatever you get San Diego as a team, that's going to be a good rivalry for Seattle. If you put a team in Arizona, it's a good rivalry, Seattle. So I think you're going to have, no matter where the Vipers go, you're going to be able to create a rivalry that I don't think anyone have in Vegas.
I agree. Appreciate you, Jenna, for the comment. All right, let's move on. A couple more questions for you, brother. I think that's it on the Tecmo Bowl stuff, though. Anything else you want to share? Well, like I said, I'll get all your socials and stuff at the end for you to say for everybody. But anything relevant to this that the people at home should know about your game?
I mean,
we've been covering it for quite a long.
Basically, like they say in the jerseys. And if you want to play it, help yourself. Share it, because that's what helps spreads the word. I'm not doing advertising or anything. Spread the word. Listen, that makes me feel great. And hey, it was worth staying up 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm on week 13 of that big chart you showed for GoPro, and I'm hoping by end of November we could finally say, hey, this is the greatest XFL team of all time. So it's all steps. First is the game. Now we're gonna find out who legit is the greatest.
So this is your baby right now that you're working on. Gotcha. Yep. So y'all check him out on Twitter and YouTube, on Facebook as well. You have somewhat of a following, so check him out on there, guys. All the links will be put in the notes, and then I've got his stuff. I've been flashing at the bottom here. But yeah, dude, let's move on. I'm gonna ask you, and I know you talked about it a little bit, but what's your favorite XFL team? Do you have one at all that you like?
So I was in 2020. I was all about the Guardians. I mean, MetLife Stadium. I'm like, you know what? I even saw the tickets. I'm like, you know what? I could afford that. I can't afford going to see the Jets or the Giants, but I could afford for the Guardians. And the world ended. Well, the world stopped, and unfortunately, the Guardians never came back. So, I went with the approach for the 2023 version to be a fan of the league. I'm a diehard Ravens fan. Between the Ravens and Mets, they like to break my heart every year, so it was kind of nice last year to look from afar and just be invested in the product, not the team. And it was such a different feeling. It kind of made me excited for next season because, I mean, I tried watching every game I could. I had a ESPN, the Plus app,
Yep.
So it was nice. I mean, hey, if you're going to pay for Disney, you might as well get the free football games.
I
You
agree.
know,
I liked
and,
it. It shut down on me a lot, but otherwise
yeah.
it was nice to just pop it open.
Well, I mean, it was great too. I mean, you didn't even have to sit in front of your TV to watch the game, and you definitely help them, broaden their audience. The only thing I've and till this day I still wonder. I would love if they announce, hey, we have this many viewers. you know, you're kind of left in the dark. But I mean, I've posted multiple polls, and it sounded like a lot of people were watching it through the app and not through your
They were.
regular TV. So I really would love to see that number.
Yeah, I think there's they're supposed to be pulling some of that data this next year, I believe. There's some group. There's a guy on Twitter you can follow, and I'm following him right now. Maybe a guy, I don't know, maybe a girl, I'm not sure. But he posts stuff, and I seen an article the other day where I think they're going to start including some streaming stuff with that. I'm not sure how they gather that data though, because it's kind of invasive, if you ask me.
I mean, I think they know how many subscribers they got. I mean, they could probably. I mean, right now on YouTube, you could probably see how many people are watching this or watching a video from the past.
Well, I agree with that, but I think YouTube's a much different platform than the ESPN Plus app. That ESPN Plus app, man, it doesn't matter if you're watching on the phone, the computer, whatever, the Xbox, that thing will shut down on you quick, and it'll start up quick as well, so no problem there. But
as long as Amazon doesn't buy it, like I heard the rumor, because I mean, if the rumor is true, you're gonna force people to watch that on at home because no one's going to pay $50.
Somebody's complimenting your games, man. Jenna said those Tecmo XFL games are so cool.
Yeah, I highly recommend people watching them. I mean, I'm trying to do it now where I do like a short or a reel of like, a first play or something, because some of the first touchdowns are just incredible. I actually posted one on YouTube a couple weeks ago when it was Luis Perez with the Renegades, and I think he's at like the 5 yards or out, and he throws a 90-yard bomb. That Vaughn catches at like the 2 yard line and just walks in. I mean,
what's his stats, bro?
But the funny part is, he's I kept him the same basically through all. So I mean, I wish I could tell you it's all completion percentage.
Gotcha.
Some of them, if they weren't that good throwing the ball, they're not going to be that great throwing the ball in the game. But I tried keeping everything as real as possible. I mean, if you were the leading rusher for a season, if you had the most touchdowns, you're going to be the fastest guy in the game. Hence why I had 6 kickoffs in one game.
Understood.
Because it's realistic. I mean, if you have a guy who's was there and hey, you have 1 carry for 5 yards, yeah, he's going to have the baseline stats. But if you balled out, and had great stats, then in the game you're definitely gonna be on a high level.
Gotcha. And for the most part, looking at those stats, most of those numbers were pretty even. Whether it be on the high scale or the upper scale, but most of those numbers are pretty even, and that seemed to be that's very accurate for the season. In terms of passing and passing percentages. So I like that, man. Looking at that makes me know it's accurate. You're not just putting 95, 92, 85. You're actually going through and doing some percentages. So that's awesome.
The funny part too with that is everything. It was formula based. Well, when you go into the game, everything is a certain number. So it's like 13, 25. Like 37, it would be that. So it's like if it's in the middle, it's like, all right, do I give him extra? Do I give him lower? Oh well, he was great during the regular season, so it just had to go off of that situational. But yeah, I mean that was the hardest part because I mean if someone's literally right in the middle, you got to think, all right, well, is there anyone else on the team that's on his level? No, I'll give him the boost because he's gonna be the starting running back.
Gotcha, makes sense, and it's not crazy. Everything you have has a real world approach. So that's probably what I like so far about hearing about it is, it's not just because your discretion.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I have it as computer, the two computers play against each other. Cause I mean, I've just started a season as a Houston Roughnecks because I'm not gonna lie, I think that's the best team in the game with PJ Walker. Because those guys are just insane. Their stats matched up. I think one of them had like 7 touchdowns or something like that. And he had a couple rushing touchdowns and rushing yards. So I mean, the stats match up. So it's I try keeping it as real as possible. Like I said, and even the matchups. So when you play the game back in the day, you would have 2 teams that were colored jerseys at home. Who's the home team? So I kept it where you had a team wearing their road jerseys against a team wearing their home jerseys. Gotcha. Or hey, the Bolts, it's all white, so they're in the game as a road team for every single game. You could
gotcha.
play or 2, but they're going to show up as the road team because it's an all white. So and white and purple look better. Memphis Maniacs, that color came out great, but to play all teal, that's going to look off. So that's teal helmets, teal pants with the white jersey.
Gotcha. That's a lot. It sounds easy, you talking about it, but I know in reality that's not that easy to set up.
Can you pull up the shorts? Because you should see that play with it's like the longest pass ever.
Let me see. Well, we don't want to pull up that short. I gotta go back.
Yes, I'm branching out, so I went on vacation. There's a theme park I absolutely love, and doing my research, I got 2 kids, and I'm like, you know what? There's no one has a video on this. Like, why not? So I'm trying to branch out with stuff that I feel like people should know about too. And
I'll ask you that. Don't tell me too much on that one. That's a question. Don't tell me too much yet. Let's watch this video. Hold on. Let me get the screen set up for this video. All right.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a kickoff return. These are cool. So you'll see the computer won't kick it back fully all the way into the end zone like you've had in previous versions of the game.
Oh yeah, that's nasty right there. I like that.
Yeah, and that's when the fumble. It's a glitch, but it's either going to work in your favor or not.
I mean, that's how all the other games work.
Yeah, but you should look for it. It's I know it was the Renegades. I want to say it's against 2020 Roughnecks.
Is that a game footage or is that real life?
Yeah, footage? Yeah. It was actually from the game. It's one of the shorts.
Let's see. So I'm only getting these short, but I guess it's because I'm in the Goat Bowl. Hold on.
Yeah, go to the main page and go to shorts.
Okay. So that's the one is this the one right here? No, it's right here.
No, not mark your calendar. Just keep going down. I know, sir. I'll send it to you if I don't find it. Oh, nope. Try. Hold on.
Here's
go up a little. I think I saw it.
There's Renegades and Roughnecks. Is that it?
It's right next where it says Tecmo 2023 simulation. It says longest pass ever.
Right there.
Yep.
Man, made it look easy.
Well, that's what makes this game cool. I mean, back in the day, it was goofy, Like stuff like that happens. Cool. Like you play Madden right now, and Madden's trying to be so realistic. You have a glitch like that, and you're like, what the heck is going on here?
I mean, it's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to keep up with the short clips because some of those short clips took off. On Instagram, I had a clip of I did the simulation of the championship game where it was DC against Arlington, and it started off with a sack. I got 10,000, I got 1,000 views on that. I'm like, just from this, it's the weirdest things hit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's stuff you don't think is going to take off. I went on the 4th of July. Took I have a short of nothing but clips of fireworks. Nothing but clips. It's my highest view ever.
You're over here creating a whole game. You take some firework vids. I get it, man. I'm right there with you, though. Sometimes I feel like you could make some some bad content that just was there to please people and then it would be watched. But it's good that you keep up your passion. I'm gonna play one more of these that I don't know. Let me just click around. Let's touch this one. So is this just a promo vid?
Yeah. So it's what I call like the Tecmo tease videos.
Gotcha.
But it's kind of like the old school where you kind of see the matchup. What's it going to be? If you see anything where it's the two logos in like 8-bit style, those and they're up in like the top upper corner, then that's going to be like a highlight video.
Gotcha.
Like the middle one, or if you go to shorts.
Back to shorts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like right here.
Yeah.
He gone. Oh, a little shake and bake there.
AKA up, down, up, down, up, down.
All right, dude. Sweet game, bro. Well, I'm excited to check this out more in my off time for sure. Let me see. I got two more questions for you, and let's just go ahead and go with your future plans here. Let's talk about that. I know you were about to get into that some, so share that with me if you don't mind. What were you about to share about future plans and projects?
So I'm kicking around the idea of maybe doing one of the 20s, the 2020, 23, 24, if sticking with this current format. If I can't do one where I can add the 24s and not touch anything else, which I would love to, but you never know with these with the codes. You hit one thing and now everything, your background's now pitch black, and
yep.
All I was trying to do was change the team name. So
be careful.
Yeah, right. So that's one. I would love to, like I said before, there's a wrestling game for Nintendo, and it's like Nintendo based, because the programs, they're all almost the same. So to edit a graphic or something, it's not too bad. Or some of these where you really have to spend basically 6 days to just render one thing. At least it only takes us 20 minutes. Hey, you figured it out. So
yeah.
I would love to do something like that of wrestling, and then Tecmo, and then I'm definitely going to be doing a greatest of all time NFL one. We're just waiting to see how the season plays out. I mean, we don't want to put Aaron Rodgers on the Jets right now, if the Jets just completely stink this season. So
understood. Yeah, makes sense. Let him play. Let's see if he's the greatest of all time this year. I mean, I can understand that. And that even if you do weekly highlights, that'd be cool. Maybe one game a week or something, dude. There's a lot of different things you could do. And I feel like personally, the NFL stuff, right now, I could do a fantasy football podcast, and I guarantee you that it would get quite a few listens. Compared to my XFL stuff.
But then it comes down to where it's but if XFL is your passion, it's I don't care if I have 4 views, because you know what, I'm liking what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna sometimes you throw enough against the wall, it will stick.
Agree 100%, and I attest to that as well. You definitely figure out how to swim once you get your feet wet. It takes some time, or you don't swim and sink.
Yeah, you just jump in.
All right. So, that's pretty cool. I hope you see more work from you, dude. If you do start some stuff, make sure you let everybody know.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's kind of your on season, but it is the off season. So, this would be the time to do it, because once the season hits, it's going to be pretty busy, I think, for all of us in this content creation world.
And like I said before, I'm hoping to hit the 500, because, if anybody wants an NFL helmet or XFL helmet, 8-bit style, subscribe. Let's hit 500. And let's make it happen, because like you're showing now, all it takes is subscribe. And also what's good about that, once you subscribe, you get notifications. So hey, and I don't know how the algorithms work out for YouTube, because I'll post something 4 days ago and all of a sudden I'll get notification this is 4 days old. I didn't just post this, but the joys of social media, I guess you would say.
Agreed. Okay, last question I got for you, brother. Where'd it go? It disappeared into the abyss of questions. I want to hear your thoughts, I guess, as a fan and as well as a content creator on XFL 2023. Give me your honest opinion. How do you think it went?
So I definitely think they're adjusting, or they're fixing one area with Vegas. That was good, because that needed to be done. Like we talked. The kicker completely slipped like Charlie Brown. That's and we're in a world with social media. All it takes is one guy just slipping like that. It's viral. Something new. You don't want bad free publicity. You want good free publicity.
Exactly.
So I think that I like what they did with the championship, everything. I think it was great picking San Antonio to host it. I do wish the trophy looked a little better, but coming from a wrestling background, a title belt would have just been awesome. But but I
could see that with Vince. I don't know about the new crew, to be honest.
Hey, the Rock's a multi-time champion here. But I think the games were great. I mean, they were in it. I mean, look at Orlando. Orlando's only win is DC's only loss. Just think about that. And they lost on a field goal. And there's no extra points. It's 1, 2, or 3, and the difference was a field goal. So that shows you, hey, kickers are still important. Everyone's got a spot, and I think the gameplay was great. I do know a lot of people were upset when the 2023 names and everybody was pumped when the cities came out. I think everyone kind of had an idea, and when they came out with the jerseys, I think everybody was like, "That's not my St. Louis Battlehawks." But what did you do there? But in the end, I think it worked out because they're trying to set up their own identity. Exactly. You're gonna have the teams and stuff, but you want your own identity. So I think that helped them because if they had more, I'm not gonna say merchandise, but like jerseys, those came out way too late. I think if in the beginning they were cheaper or better quality or stuff like that, fans are in the stadium wearing them. How many times did they show a video of St. Louis and everyone's rocking their old Battlehawks jersey? Luckily, it worked out. They're still blue. Luckily, the team colors are still the same. But what are you going to wear to a San Antonio game?
Yeah, they have to be blue. There's no way they could change that.
Yeah.
You can go for a different color for sure.
Yeah.
But...
So, I mean, at least they kept it the same so it kind of looked not that bad. But, I mean, all it takes is if they work on that, and I hate to say that, maybe that's why that person in that position didn't make it to this upcoming season. But with that, at least you have it where now they know what problems they have to fix and how to do them.
Gotcha.
And I do have ideas what I think would help next season. Actually, I do think next year, and I'm a numbers kind of guy, and what I think would help is, instead of having, I know they travel a lot, have it each team do at least 2 games back to back in their hometown, but keep them there that week. Have a free practice, have fans come out. That's going to help engagement. Or if it's an off day, have them go help out a soup kitchen or stuff like that. You're spreading the word. That's going to help the fan base grow even stronger. You're getting your free publicity. They're helping the community, and now the community is like, hey, they're here to stay. Yep. So I love the fact they had fans in the stands. I don't want to talk bad in other leagues, but to me that's a big point because you as a wrestling fan, we had the Battle Dome era, where they pumped in crowd noise, they had screens and stuff. It didn't feel real, Yeah. You have fans in the stands. This is real. This is legit. Like you feel it when you see, hey, someone's kicking a field goal, and it's just them spelling out the letters of their league. It's like, who's here watching? So I like the fact that they had fans there, and if you look at what was released with Vegas, the first words were the fans. Get the fans back, and it's showing that the fans put they put the dollars in their pockets from people sitting in the seats. So if you're keeping them happy, I think, and you're going to get more fans by keeping have Seattle in Seattle for 2 weeks. Have them stay there. Open practice, I guarantee you by the end of that season, you're going to have a jump in attendance.
Yeah. I test.
You know, and especially like Orlando. If Orlando decided to, do something like that, and Orlando's a great spot too. They have so many bowl games. Imagine if they had a thing where, hey, how much are you paying for this bowl game? You're paying like $400. Here, let me show you what a $400 seat would be if you were to get a Guardian season pass holder. Boom, speaks for itself.
I agree.
So I think if they tweak stuff like that, that's going to help them go further. But I think they're on the right path. I think they did correct a lot of things that didn't work. But just like this game, where it's plug and play, trial by error, that's what season one's about. We all know that. You go into business knowing you're not going to be perfect year one or month one even.
Yep.
So some people would say, oh, they lost certain amount of money. People go into a restaurant business, they don't make that year one. They learn, my supplies, my staff, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a number. Yeah, it's a name that we all know. But that's part of the game, So I think they're going to learn from what went wrong. They're going to correct it. What went great, or what was really good for them, they're going to make even better. And I think they're on the right path to really making this something, because as a baseball fan in my state, we used to have tons of minor league teams, and it was great because I'm sandwiched between Red Sox, Yankees, Mets.
Got baseball year round.
Yeah, you have a family of four. You're out $200 before. But the minor league teams, you could afford it, but you're seeing the stars of tomorrow now.
Yep,
that's what this is. And if they do things properly, I mean, a family of four can go there, enjoy it, and have a great time. So now it's more of let's make it where they're going to be here for a while, and you engage, you're going to get more fans in the seats.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and we can all see that the fan engagement was huge there. Mm-hmm. Media coverage in terms of getting things out on time, stuff like that. But I will say, and I was generally surprised that, after 2, 3, 4 weeks of play, we started getting some really good football play. We started getting some really exciting games, upsets, everything that the football world needs out of these games. And coming from like AAF, a lot of those games I watched, the skill just wasn't there. And you had one team that was performing and the other team was just getting whooped on. Yeah. And so it's big. I feel like that they have built this competitive nature between each team, and they've really spread out the skill instead of keeping it all one way. So I will preach and say that's the best part about this. And speaking from other leagues, I enjoy this the most for gameplay.
The coaches too. I don't know if you sat or if you saw those coaches roundtable. I will watch them and listen to them, and it's like, wow, like these coaches are going back and forth and joking at each other. I'm like, wow, the coaches are tight. Other leagues, someone's going to tell you something that can't be repeated on air. Exactly. So at least they have a good brotherhood, not only as a community of fans, but it's also a community of coaches and players. And I think that speaks for itself, and I think that's also going to help. And also, I mean, look at their coaches; it's diverse. You don't see that in the NFL.
100% agree.
But the coach of the Redskins, Eric Bellamy, the Commanders. Nobody want to take a shot on him. I mean, it's like if he goes to the XFL, he's going to be a great coach. So I think it's great where you're going to have people who wouldn't have a chance at coaching, getting a chance to coach, and then doing well. Look it back.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be good. And I think by spreading the word. Oh, and what I was saying before, do you feel that, especially because I mentioned the Battlehawks, do you see them getting, I would say, maybe an extra home game next year?
I hate to speak on speculation, but in my opinion, if they don't move the championship game there for a year or two, that's just going to put a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a fact of those fans have earned that, and
Yeah.
you put a game there, any game, it don't matter if it's championship or, like you said, a regular season game, they're going to show out and show up, especially if they're winning. So,
Yeah.
and if you pick a date when there's not Cardinals games or soccer or something along those lines, the whole city's coming out there.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
in my opinion, yes, they're going to have to maximize that schedule because that's crucial for them. They don't need to start a game on the road. They
No.
don't need to have 3 games in a row at home. They need to have a diverse schedule like everyone else, and it's important for those fans that in the whole league that we keep those fans engaged and happy. And that doesn't mean win or lose. That means giving them the respect of using their venue and playing in their home city and bringing those funds in, the revenue from people coming in. Because, like I said, man, when you go to those games, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of games now, and tailgating is minimal. It's minimal at most. You have your special occasions. There was a couple, 2 or 3 different special occasions where it was big, but gauging from my Houston experience, tailgating wasn't that big. I mean, it wasn't small, but it wasn't giant.
Not Bill's Mafia style.
Yeah, but you go to these Battlehawk games, it's intense, and that's the kind of feels you get. And everybody, every corner, they're doing something. I mean, so yeah, I agree with you on that. I hope they do something else for them.
Well, think of it like I said, because St. Louis, if I remember, they had at least 2 games home. Imagine if instead of going back to Texas, imagine that week they stayed in St. Louis. Imagine if they went to go some community service or reached out. I think Beck even took them bowling. I mean, just stuff like that. It's not much, but it's going to help the city expand them even more.
I agree with you.
Orlando, they're struggling. Have Orlando do that. Have Orlando go stuff like that.
No,
the media's going to cover it.
I'll say Orlando does do a pretty good job at fan engagement. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of their stuff just because they didn't have a lot of wins, and they had a lot of controversy there at the beginning. And then plus some more feedback I got was that when you went to the games, you were stuck in the sun the whole time, and people hated that. But in terms of fan engagement, I know that they provide some good experiences, especially for like those season ticket holders and such. So, I mean, I agree with you, though. There could always be more, but I feel like they do a pretty good job compared to other teams for sure. Mm. What's up, Jersey Sam? What's up, Jersey? I'll have Jersey on next month. Y'all check him out. He's got his own show on YouTube as well.
Nice. What's the show?
Jersey, drop your name real quick. I'm going to post it on here. It's the Gridiron Nation, I believe, isn't it, Jersey?
I think I just started following them, so I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of cool with this. You find out like people who you hit it off with someone online, and then you learn about them, and it's like what, right now with the off season, NFL too. I mean, it's kind of nice to listen to on the way to work. Hey, this is someone's take on this, or sweet Gridiron Podcast.
He does a Vegas Vipers show too.
Yeah, I think I heard one actually through Spotify. You were being interviewed, so that was nice. So I got to know you before I even knew you. So I mean, it's all about finding your niche, and that's what it is. But I have a question for you with 8-1. What did you think the announcement was going to be?
I was hoping for the schedule or at least a championship date, and that's what I was hoping for. Honestly, with the way things go, though, I figured it wasn't going to be too big, in my opinion. But I was really hoping for just more dates, more scheduling, more something. I knew we weren't getting another team. That's just crazy.
So I first thought it was going to be I was leaning schedule the way it was, and then it dawned on me the NBA didn't release their schedule yet. So for them, with ESPN being their media partner, they had to wait till they got confirmation. Oh, these are the NBA games they're going to play. Now they have the NHL schedule. Now they know where they're going to play. But Makes now sense. The monkey wrench back like it was last year. Where's the Vipers playing? But I think this year, I think they know it. I think they're more prepared for it. Like last year in October on Halloween, they announced team names and everything. I think, and I'm probably wrong, but sometimes I notice trends. I think they're going to try doing something and make sure that they announce something every year around that.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a good job in releasing info so far. Last year, we were just begging for information.
Yeah.
I've said on numerous shows, I was really worried about what content I was going to discuss on here because it's just the same whitewashed Twitter crap that comes from every single person on there. But so far, it's been promising. We've had plenty of talking points. We've had plenty of things to discuss. And honestly, it's not much, but it's enough to have a formative discussion. And especially when you're talking with someone who's, respectable and intelligent enough to put stuff out there.
Yeah, and everyone has their own niche. I mean, it's not like the same person's cover. The same people are covering the same thing. Everything's spread out, which is kind of nice. Yeah. I mean, you'll have you can have someone covering Defenders, but there's 5 people with 5 different views, and that's what's great about this because everyone has a chance to say their views and to share how they feel, and everyone's like, dude, that's awesome. Thanks for your feedback. It's not like, you know what, go sit in your corner.
I understand. My thing is, I just hate that. Seems like a lot of people that are putting out credit, and I don't mean me. I'm not talking about me when I say this in any way, shape, or form. But some of these guys will post stuff, and people just run with it, and they take it and use it and credit your sources. That bothers me so bad. Well, give those people credit. If you steal their Twitter pictures and put it on Facebook, put their names. Do something. Unless it comes from XFL itself.
Yeah.
Well, give those people the credit.
With the announcement tonight, I saw someone in the fan group post it, but it was cropped. And like, oh man, I'm not going to say anything to you until I actually see the full thing. And then, hey, this is legit. Because you don't want to be that one guy who's like, oh, yeah, this is happening. And it's like, you got tricked. Congratulations for spreading false news. You
learn quick whenever you get some kind of following in the media stuff. You don't speak on speculatory stuff unless it's like the Vegas where we knew something was happening. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
or if they leave enough Easter eggs where somebody really wasn't paying attention on what they were doing.
And that happens often. And sometimes I wonder if the sources that the information is leaked from isn't on purpose. Because just like this stuff, this all kind of ding, ding, ding. It all kind of lines up, and they threw this out right before the weekend too. So but anyway,
look at last year when the team names came out. Like there were just way too many breadcrumbs. Somebody just was not paying attention.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Because I mean, having a media background, a lot of the stuff is public knowledge. But you could look up right now the trademarks. Like as soon as this word went out with Vegas, right thing I went to was the USPTO to see if there's anything already trademarked for Vegas or for Arizona.
Yep, and that's public information, and that's how you had to find a lot of your information out before. Yeah, and that's kind of what. It's kind of why I wanted to bridge this gap. I don't want to be an all-tuned source or an expert in this or that. I just want to be able to bring everybody together and share some information that could improve us as fans, media, content creators, whatever. So, I feel that. And Jersey here, he said, "Did you hear the news?" Yeah, we heard, Jersey. I don't know where you've been all show, but we discussed that. I bet you're not too happy about that. Curious to see your opinion.
Is he the guy you were on the podcast?
Yeah, he's the same one. Yeah. I was on his show. He's the only show that I've actually attended other than my own. Yeah. He's the only one that's had me as a guest. And like I said, he'll be joining me September 19th, I believe. I don't know. I have to look at the schedule in front of me, but he'll be on here with me too.
It would be good to put names with faces because like everyone's got real names, social media names. It's like, hey, I kind of figure out who you are and what you do.
Yep. And it happens slowly and surely. It just, like you said, it's who you're messing with, what niche you're looking for, whether you're there just for information or you're there to interact, whatever. Jersey said, well, I got a source in the league and I'm letting you know that they are exploring options. Vegas may not be leaving Nevada, just leaving Cashman. I hope for your sake they don't leave Nevada, buddy. I know you're ready for this season, so I really hope they don't.
Hey, listen, I did a video, and it's weird. As Google Earth is such a great material for you. I've done stadium videos, and one that did very well was where would the Vipers play, and I did Cashman. I did there's a good ballpark where the Reno Aces play. That's a very nice baseball park. Or Nevada. Listen, Nevada Vipers works. You could literally. Good. I actually, and I'm not great with what is that, Photoshop? Yeah, not good at all. I think I slept through that class in college. And I literally made just by cut and paste, I took the state of Nevada, I outlined it with black and red, and where Reno was, I put little eyeball. Hey, listen, you don't even have to go crazy with it. You keep it the same, and I mean, I'm pretty sure Nevada, Nevada Vipers works because they were trying to keep the alliteration Vegas Vipers. Because I remember watching Pat McAfee when he was on. He was trying to not announce it, but he's like, "Yeah, it's a dangerous thing," and I'm like, "Well, it's either rattlesnakes or vipers." you're not you're leaving the door way open on that one. I mean, so they could always rebrand to the rattlesnakes or something. It all depends what they want to do. Keep in mind that I'm pretty sure you've covered this. LA Wildcats is now a trademark they redid.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that went on with that, but a lot of people think it's just securing that, not necessarily a plan. But look at what's happening here.
Yep.
I mean, how do we know truly?
Well, if you look at the trademarks too, because it's XFL properties, I think the other ones didn't. So the other ones, they only carried over. They really didn't carry over many of them. So this could be a way for them to also put in, maybe down the road, they do throwback jerseys. So maybe they're going to try trademarking anything else. And I actually asked that to Seattle on their social media. I'm like, hey, when are you guys going to do a throwback Dragons jersey? They said not this season. And that was
they answered you at least. That's good.
Yeah, but that could be a thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure. What is it? Retro Kings?
Yeah.
They do Heat New jerseys, which you can play as the biggest Outlaws from season 1.
Gotcha. So yeah, Josh was asking any guesses to where they're going. We discussed this earlier, guys. I mean, I've just got the same info from earlier. I mean, we're looking at Nashville, San Diego, some other places in Nevada itself, but there's nothing guaranteed yet. Everything's kind of speculatory.
I think, and I'm probably wrong because I usually am, but I got a feeling, like I said, they're going to try to do something where they're not going to announce anything till it's legit. They're going to keep everything close to the vest. And I think if they're trying to keep something up with every year doing something, for Halloween, for example, I got a feeling they might drop something Halloween and say, hey, this is, we're going to be playing here and this is what's going on. And, once they know, I think they're already working too on getting the schedule set and the time, because I'm pretty sure they're going to want everything out sooner this year so people can make their travel arrangements. Yep. And, it's, Merry Christmas. Here's tickets to the XFL.
That's all I want.
Instead of January.
I'm going as media, and I still want that for Christmas. Come on.
or you know what? Black Friday would be huge. I mean, look, the NFL this year is even doing a Amazon Prime game on Black Friday. So everyone's on a computer and stuff around that time. Drop stuff there,
Yes, sir. I feel that. So I got one more comment, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Georgie said expansion teams are being explored after the 2024 season. That's directly from Danny Garcia. Also, the reason for the Vipers are in Vegas. So you got to think. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that comment, man.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they want to make sure everything slowly. And I think what they're also doing is they're looking at, and it's not competition, but the USFL. I think they're trying to see what they're doing. So if USFL goes to 10, they're going to do it. Or they're going to try to be in the first league to 10. It's going to be one or the other.
I spoke about the expansion myself, and I really don't care either way as long as it's legitimate. Don't start pulling moves that you can't afford. Do everything that is in the books and budgeted correctly, because that's how all these leagues always fall down and crumble. It's money is projected, and the money's not there. So
yeah. I mean, if they have a great season where they end up in the green, I bet you they're going to start thinking expansion sooner. Yep. If they haven't, if they're just breaking even, I think they're going to hold off. I think it really depends on gains and losses this season. That's going to tell them where it goes, and I think they're also looking at markets. Seeing that 23 had markets from 2001, like Vegas, like Orlando. You never know. But then also you look at AAF. did great for San Antonio. That's how the Brahmas are there.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think they're going to look at different things. Personally, I would love to see a team in Hartford. Just because,
pray.
yeah. Listen, they got a stadium up there. It's between Boston and New York. You can have two groups get together. Just make sure no one's wearing Red Sox or Yankees jerseys, and you won't have any fights in the stands.
All right, bro. That about wraps it up. That's for
a good
us.
Way to end it.
Yep, it does. I have no more comments on that. But yeah, dude, I appreciate you coming on again. Guys, this is Rick8Bit. Great guy, great content creator. Check him out. Dude, if you care, I mean, do you have anything like your socials or anything you want the people at home to know? I always tell people this is an audio show too, and you know that. Yeah. So make sure that, you tell the people that are just listening, where to find you.
Yeah, Rick8Bit. Don't get confused with Rick and Morty, because sometimes that will come up on YouTube. All you got to do is type it in. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Definitely trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube, people. So even if you just like the shorts, subscribe. Once I hit 500, someone's getting like that R8, but like those helmets behind me as well. So let's hit 500. I want to give away a helmet.
Yeah, dude. I hope you do as well. And like I said, I'll share anything you got. Just let me know. I'll support you in your endeavors.
And I'll send you those links too if I find anyone has made one of those games before. And I'll make it simple so people just have to click download, and then if they want to download some, any of those games, I'll set up, make it as user friendly as possible.
Yes, sir. Yeah, dude, do that. Please shoot me that links in the notes, just the hyperlinks itself. And like I said, when I post this on Facebook, and I'll repost it on Twitter, and then I'll add it on YouTube, all these links will be just clickable in the notes where you can go right to them. So it'll be super easy.
Perfect.
But yeah, bro, I appreciate you again coming on. It's been a good time. Good conversation. Nice and relaxed, nothing too crazy. So thanks again. Thanks. Let's get you on again for sure when things kick up and we get some more stuff going and you get some new content. Maybe you feel free to come back and talk about it, and we'll discuss some more good updates.
Maybe we'll do like a highlight of the goal bowl in the end,
I'm down for that.
We'll have enough clips, and to see he hate me score a touchdown, who wouldn't want to see that, right?
I'm down for that. And I'll tell you, I got some stuff in the works with some different podcasting networks, I guess you can say. I don't know if I'll be staying on YouTube as much, or I mean, not YouTube, I'm sorry, Twitter or X as much. So I may be switching off to a different place. And we will have some live stream events that are kind of like pay-per-views and such. So, hey, could be a possibility for some good stuff there, man. And yeah, just let me know what you need. If I can help you out, I will. It's all about the collaboration and benefiting us all in this game.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Yes, sir. But until next time, man, it's been a pleasure.
All right, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. All right. That's about wraps it up for us, guys. That was a good interview. As I've said, we spent 2 hours just chatting it up. Great stuff. Check his game out. I'll include all the links in the notes once I get them up. But you can check him out on YouTube, Twitter, X, Facebook, all those different places he's active and doing stuff. But yeah, like I said, I didn't know that game you could actually play yourself. So check that out. You do have to have an emulator, but it's downloadable. It's easy to use. It's nothing crazy. So check it out, please. I mean, I am probably tonight when I get off here. But yeah. Let's see, got a comment. Appreciate you, Jersey, man, for stopping by. I look forward to getting you on. Like I said, bro, you're the only one that's had me on their show in an interview standpoint besides myself. Besides my own show. So appreciate you, man. We're all about the collaborations here, and I'm hoping we can all help each other out in the end. As always, thanks to XFL. Appreciate you letting me cover the Roughnecks as well as the league. It's a great pleasure, and I enjoy it, and hope to keep doing it as we go. We're growing, progressing towards better professional things, so just keep watching out. Trying to get my setup back here right. I mean, it looks a lot better for sure, but I'm not done. I've got some more work to do, and I'm going to be playing with camera angles and such, so check that out, and just, if you see something that needs to be changed, let me know. No worries. See, got a couple more comments. Appreciate you, Jenna. Appreciate you, Jersey. Yes, sir. I agree with that comment 100%. Family is what it's about. But anyway, that's it from me. Check us out on all social media platforms. Don't forget, this is an audio show also. I edit it down a little bit so it's easier to listen to. So check it out and let me know what you think. Appreciate everybody so far and the support. It's been a good ride, as I always say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending 2 hours listening or checking us out afterwards. Either way, I enjoy this. So it's a good thing, and I hope to keep doing it as we go. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Till next time.